Hello everybody. In this video I'm going to show you how we can create our own very first database using phpmyadmin. Well, in order to run phpmyadmin you need to install XAMPP. This one's right here, and you need to start Apache and mysql. Well, the whole tutorial is present in my previous videos, so you can check them out, and I'll put the link of those videos in the description below. So today we're going to see how we can create a new database using phpmyadmin. Well, first up, there are two ways to do that. Either you can use the panel, and I will show you step by step how that could be done, or you could actually construct your own query in order to create your first database and the table. So we're going to start with our first database. All you need to do is click on the new tab here on the left and select the database name. I'm going to well, not of course you're not going to select it, you're going to name your database. I'm going to just name it employee because and I'm going to click on the create button, and voila, my database has been created. Now uh, if you're a learner, if you're just a beginner, you must understand that there are three aspects of a database. The first thing is the database itself, then we have the tables, and then we have the columns. So it's more of a hierarchical structure that we follow in a relational database management system. There are others as well, and we're going and but we're specifically talking about relational database in this video. We will touch that those other databases in our upcoming videos, and we'll let you know about them once we reach there. So now I have to create a table, and let's start with employee. Since we're creating an employee table, uh, so I'm going to name my first uh, table into this database as employee, or I can select how many columns or attributes this employee column could have. At this moment I could think of about 6 of them, so I'm going to select 6 here, or you can type as many columns. These are actually the number of columns your table is going to contain. It's very similar to that of an Excel sheet. You could see that there are columns which are marked with alphabets, and then there are rows which are marked with the numbers, right? So they typically works very similar in that particular fashion. And I'm going to click on now. Since I've named my employee named my table as employee, and I have given columns, I have given number of columns. uh, you can always change that once it's created. We don't have to worry about that. So I'm going to just click on the go button here, and it will take me to the page where it will ask for details about what kind of records I want to keep into this particular employee table right here. So first up, I want to have employee IDs, then I want employee name, I want employee email address. So let me just put it. Let me just put an email here, uh, phone number or address, and position or designation. solely up to you, like how you want to name them. Okay, so now employee ID, uh, this 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 type here, uh, it's only asking from you that what type of data you want to store in this particular table. So in employee ID, I want to store only numeric data. So for that reason, I'm just going to select int, or you can take big integer. That's just that just increases the the capacity or to store the numbers you want to add to this particular column. Employee name, well, of course, names can never be a numeric value, so we're going to select varchar for that. Email, of course, email is going to contain both of these values like numeric, alphanumeric, and alphabet. So varchar is, we can safely select varchar for that. Phone numbers, again, big integer. Address, we're going to select variable character or varchar. Position, again, varchar. Okay, so I want to have about uh, length. Let's keep it 100 here. I don't have any issue regarding my regarding to my hard disk space or storage, so I can keep employee ID length to this number. It's not going to affect me that much. Okay, employee name. Let's just go about 25 on that. Email, let's do 100 here. Phone number 20. Address, another 100. Position, how about, okay. So yeah, we don't have to worry about any of these at this point. We're going to specifically discuss these as we proceed further. We're learning how to create our first database and our first table and our first set of columns, right? So yeah, one more thing I'd like to add here is that before we proceed further, now I want to keep this employee ID column to be unique, right? Every employee will have their own unique employee IDs, right? Now, I mean, let's take an example. If John has an employee ID 123 and uh, Cody has an employee ID of 124. So this is an attribute which is unique for John and Cody themselves. Like it's similar to your landline phone numbers or mobile number that's registered to your name, right? So it's completely unique data. So what I'm going to select is I'm going to select unique against it. And one more thing, I want to make my other columns dependent on this employee ID, as this employee ID will be an identification of these other columns. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select primary instead of um, instead of uh, unique. Right, now employee name doesn't have to be unique because two person could have the same first name, right? Email address, yes, this table could be unique. Phone number could be unique. Address, well, address doesn't have to be unique because two people working in the same organization could share a house or a room, so they could have the same address. Let's not put this part unique. Position, well, of course it's not going to be unique as well. So now I've completed this data. You can see a whole lot of information that it's here, which well is waiting to be filled, but uh, it's not our we're going to do it's not our main concern at this point. Our main concern today is how to create a table and how to create columns. We will individually discuss all of these once we proceed further. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the save button, and here you can see an employee table has been created, and these are the columns that I added into this table right here. Notice here that there's this gold uh, key like icon here, and when I hover on it, it says primary, which signifies that this is a primary key, right? And you can notice that these uh, silver keys are the unique attributes of this table. Now we saw that how this panel could be used in order to create a table, and you can see that the created database is right here on the left with employee record. Now I'm going to do that again because I'm going to create a new table. You can also see that employee table exists here. Right. Now let's try that again, but with a different approach. And what we're going to do is click on new, and you can see that these four, we are landed back to the how to create your own columns page, but we're going to do it a bit differently this time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the SQL button on which is second from the left, and I will be landed here. So the first query since I'm going to create a table. This table, uh, let's call this table department. Okay. So before we start creating a table through the query here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the create clause, which is a data defining language, or DDL, and that actually defines how your database is going to look like, right? Okay, so I'm going to do is I'm going to create a table department this time. So I'm going to use create clause, create table. Let's call, okay, department, and open parentheses. So our first column is going to be department ID. It is going to be let's say varchar, and I'm going to define a length to it. It is not going to be null, and it is going to be, yeah. What's interesting to note here is that uh, it's a bit of a uh, it's SQL, which is sequential query language, and these commas and these parentheses matter here. So if certain errors comes up, then that means you always be mindful to look for these commas and parentheses. Okay, so let's select the second column to be department name. It is going to be variable character again. Well, not null again. And I'm not going to set this one unique because, well, okay, let's mark it unique as well. Departments do have their own phone numbers, so let me just do it that way. And since phone numbers are numeric digits, I'm going to take big integer for that. it is going to be not null. Well, not null works exactly like the forms that you fill uh, for your any kind of application, and you find there are some mandatory fields there which you can skip, right? So not null actually works, helps in marking those fields uh, mandatory, right? Phone number is going to be unique for each department, and yeah, I guess that's about it. But okay, so now I've created this query with these three columns here, and I'm going to click on the go button, and here is the query that we created, and here is the table. I want to see what's the structure that I have created. Okay, so these are the three columns that I have just created. Now I've somehow I forgot to mark any of these department IDs, any of these columns as primary. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the structure button here, and well, unique has already been marked here, so I need to change that at this. I'm going to select this department ID and click on primary button, and it will be marked as primary here and unique as well. So today we learned how to create a table into a database and how to add columns into a table. Stick around for more videos, and I'm going to show you how you can actually add data into the table using again the panel and the queries. Thanks for watching.